think that when it comes to reselling, there's sort of an elephant in the room when it comes to the way eBay thinks about the resellers on their platform. And I want to give you an example of what I'm talking about and just have a discussion about it on the other side. So without any further ado, let's go. Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. This is John from Flippin' Ain't Easy, and today I want to talk to you about something that I came across just a couple days ago that didn't really sit well with me the way eBay presented it to me as a seller, and that is with a return. Now, you guys know that I'm all for eBay's 30-day returns. Yes, it'd be nice if it was more like Mercari, but of course, that ain't in the cards, and that's not happening anytime soon. So we have to play within eBay's rules. So I'm not against returns at all. I've accepted it. It's part of doing business. But what I don't like is the return requests that we get. And if you sell long enough, you're going to know that you're going to receive returns beyond, or requests for returns beyond your 30-day, or even if you have 60-day, beyond the window you've established as a reseller for accepting returns. Now, in this particular case, I sold, it's like an extension for a bed frame. It had a bunch of those kits that I received. It wasn't a whole lot. It was like 16, 17 bucks plus the cost of shipping, and shipped it out to them. They received it just fine. I believe they sent me positive feedback and all's well with the world. However, you still have the chance that someone might want to open a return. Now, I have my return set for buyer pays, and that's really not the point of this video. The point of this video is to just make you aware that eBay will allow buyers, even though you've established, let's say, a 30-day return policy, eBay will allow buyers to still click the return button and it'll still send you a return request. And that's a big problem that I have, because Amazon doesn't do that. Once a return time's out, that button's not there for us buyers who are asking the seller to accept our return. It's just not even an option. It tells us how many days we have before a return is no longer available on that item. And eBay, I know they so long to be like Amazon, but yet they fail in certain ways like that. Now, of course, it's a pro-buyer idea that they will allow buyers to go in and ask for a return really at any time. And then what happens is, by clicking the return button, a message is sent to us sellers, asking us if we want to accept a return. Now, in this case, the buyer requested a return, but you're not obligated to accept a return for this item. Okay, now this is from the PC. It says info from the buyer. The reason, in this case, it doesn't fit. Comments, I'm not sure what I make the wrong parts mean. Maybe they bought the wrong thing. And it gives you an option to accept the return, give a full refund, offer a partial refund. The fourth option is decline a return or send the buyer a message. Now, if that's straightforward, right? So if you're on the PC, it's going to show you this particular screen when you click on the return request. So it gives you a clearly outlined idea of what's going on here. Now, it doesn't say that this is a return request beyond the 30 days. So unless you're looking for it, you might just be in, auto mode. You might be doing something else. You're really just trying to hurry up and get through the return request, not even realize it. And the first option is to accept a return. And now you're finding yourself accepting a return that you normally wouldn't have accepted if you would have realized that it's beyond the 30 days or whatever your threshold is as a seller to accept returns. Now, it's even more complicated, and I almost think that eBay is trying to pull a fast one on us on the app. It doesn't really say decline the return. At least I don't recall it saying that. And I might be wrong on that because I just don't have the screenshot to show you. But I had to stop myself. I received this initial return with my iPhone, and I had to say, wait, hold on. I don't recall selling this one anytime within the last few weeks, because I ran out of these like back in September. So I said, you know what, I'm going to slow my roll. And that's my suggestion to you guys, is whenever you receive a return request, don't automatically approve anything until you've had a chance to kind of go back and look to see what it is that is being returned, and find out when. It's not really so much when they bought it, it's really more about when they received it. So the buyer has 30 days to return the item once they received it. Once that date shows as a delivery date, that's really when eBay gives them the 30 days from. So you want to make sure that you're not beyond your 30-day, or if you're one of those sellers that offers 60-day returns, unless you want to do that kind of thing, that's totally up to you. But if it's still within your return period, you have to accept the return. But if it's beyond your return window, then you don't have to accept it. And my stance is, look, I offer a generous 30-day return policy, and it's just common sense for me. If I send you an item, you have 30 days to look it over, inspect it. If it's an electronics item or an item of function, to make sure it works the way it's intended. Does it fit properly? Does it look good? Is it the size you thought it was? Is it the color you thought it was? Whatever your deal is, you have that much time. I think that's plenty of time. But if you're one of those people who buy something, leave the thing sitting on your counter, don't even open it for weeks, well, that's not my problem as a seller. I do my due diligence to make sure that the thing that you're trying to buy from me is what I ship to you. And as a buyer, you should be doing your due diligence and making sure that, I did send you the thing that you thought you were supposed to receive, and that it's going to meet your needs. So it's a dual process, but I think eBay is trying to sort of circumvent our return policy. And this is kind of what I want you to see here, though. Before I get into my thoughts on this, I just want you to see the process here. So in this case, I selected decline the return. Decline the return request. We encourage you to accept a return. Consider a return to give the buyer a great experience, but you can decline it if you have to. You see how they guilt you? Do this to give them a great experience, right? But you can decline it if you want to. I don't like that so much. I don't like the tonnage of that, and it really comes off as guilting the seller and manipulating the seller into giving a return to a buyer that's expired their return window. Tell us why you want to decline the return request. We won't share this with the buyer. And then we offer a generous 30-day return policy. This was purchased on September 5th and is now well beyond the return window, like a month and 20 days. So if I had a 60-day return window, then I guess it would be fine. But for me, I just went in and hit that decline the return button. And then it says the return is closed. This return was closed it happened to be on the 22nd of October. In the back end of things, do I know what happens if you decline a return that is beyond the 30-day window of return? I'd like to think that nothing happens. I'd like to think that eBay has your back and understands that, hey, we're complying with their policies. But just with the verbiage that they try to use to manipulate you to accept the return, it really doesn't make me feel too good that eBay is even having our back. And the way that they sort of disguise it on the app. We're sole proprietors, most of us. Okay, most of us are not large corporations, and while most of us are not going to receive many of these, I don't get many of these. I think I get maybe one a year, maybe two a year, where it's behind or beyond the 30-day return window. So I'm making a lot of noise about something that's really not that big of a deal if I'm just putting it out there like that. But to me, I look at the things that eBay does. I look at how they treat the seller. I look at the idea, and I'm hopeful that eBay has our back, right? And when you see things like this, when you receive return requests beyond the 30-day threshold or whatever you have set up, it really comes off as disrespectful that they are giving the buyer a false expectation that they can possibly return the item beyond the 30-day window. And I find it just being flat out disrespectful to the seller. In my mind, in a perfect world, and we're not there yet, and hopefully eBay's watching this video, but in a perfect world, it's a partnership between the seller and eBay. They lay out the guidelines like they have already done. They ask us to set, or they require us to set, a 30-day return window. They give us the option of going beyond that to 60 days if we want, right? they are laying out the guidelines that they want to see for us sellers. Now, if we follow those guidelines, it should be a partnership where they have our back, right? They are honoring our policies. In this particular case, we're talking the return window. If a buyer tries to open a return after that 30-day window, why are they even showing a return button for a return when it's well beyond that 30 days is beyond me, but it doesn't really make me feel like they're honoring or at least backing the 30-day return policy that I think is pretty generous, and I think most sellers on here would also think is very generous as well. So really, this isn't a gripe video. I mean, it may come off that way, but honestly, it's just my thoughts on the subject. There is a culture at eBay, and unfortunately, it needs to change, where they really need to do more than a rah-rah. We've talked about this before. That's all I just wanted to talk to you guys about. To be honest with you, this is our business. Each and every one of you are running your own business. You are not employees of eBay. You do not have to ask for permission from eBay, provided you are falling within the guidelines that eBay sets for each and every one of us. And the tone that sometimes eBay can deliver us, the subtle tones that they can deliver to us, can sometimes make us feel guilted for just following our own policies. And I want your comments down below. I want your thoughts on this subject. I wasn't really sure if I was going to make this video. Look, I want eBay to work with us sellers. It is a partnership in my eyes. Unfortunately, it's not a partnership in eBay's eyes, and it's more of we are working for them, the way they kind of interact with us, and that needs to stop. eBay, if you're out there, look, we want you to succeed. I want you to succeed. You need to help us understand that you want us to succeed, because I know you do. I know that deep down you guys want us to succeed, because if us sellers fail, then you don't make as much money for your shareholders. So help us succeed and partner with us in a lot of these decisions, and in this case, returns. I'm sure there's many other different examples. Maybe you can put some down below. So guys, do me a favor, hit that like button if you enjoyed the content of this video. Of course, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so when I go live or make another video, you are notified. So dealing with eBay and how they think of us sellers, it's yet another example of how flipping ain't easy. And I want you guys to have a great start to your week here. It's Tuesday. Have a great start to your week, and we will talk to you very soon.